Hello YouTube, I'm Ranger Not Available, but you can call me Aiden. Today I want to talk about something that's not exactly easy for me. I briefly, and I mean briefly, touched on it in my last video. But it is probably what is the worst part of my entire life. And it's part of one of the worst few years of my life, but it by itself was certainly the absolute worst part of my life, at least so far, and I kind of hope it stays that way, honestly, because I don't know if I can take anymore, I'll be honest. So, coming out of my sophomore year of high school was a real stressful time for me. I've never been the biggest fan of biology. And I ended up failing the class because I just didn't get my work done. So I had to retake it as a junior. But something happened between then. I failed my final project in biology and barely passed both my math classes. And in the end, I ended up having to take another math class later, but that wasn't that big a deal to me. And I know I'm stalling because I don't want to talk about it, but I have to talk about it at least sometime. That way it's never forgotten. I'm just kind of trying to put you guys in my mindset. So it's the last day of school, and one of your friends walks up to you and says, "Hey, I'll see you next year, man. I hear we'll be in the same class or whatever, like it. I don't remember the words exactly because it was a long time ago now, but just casual chit chat, and he ends up leaving and says, "Hey, I'll see you next year." And I wave, but I never say anything. And then a couple days goes by, and he ends up in a car accident. And he ends up dying in that car accident. And that's the situation coming out of a super stressful sophomore year where I just failed two of my classes. Or no, one of my classes. I failed one the year before. But that's basically semantic. So, yeah, my best friend died at the end of my sophomore year. It was only a couple days after school got out. And that sparked the worst summer of my entire life. And since then, nothing has really made sense or even gone super well. But that year especially was so rough on me. Like a couple days, no, it wasn't even then. It was the same night that the accident had happened. My mom is a nurse, and she told me that she was listening to a police scanner, because a lot of us out here do, and said, "There was an accident. It sounds like it was your friend." And of course, I didn't believe her really. Like, oh, it'll probably be okay. I hope it'll be okay. But something about it didn't feel right. And turns out that the scanner was right. And my best friend had died in that car accident. And he had another friend of mine who was even younger as well in the car. And he ended up dying right, ironically enough, around the first friend's birthday, which was after school had started, my junior year. And during that time, between then, everything felt wrong. I wrote a lot of music during that time. A lot of it I will never share because it's something that is a part of me that just isn't ready to come out. You know, it's the little things that we cling to, you know? So it was a long summer for me that year. And then, of course, school starts up again, and I don't think it was 3 weeks into the school year when I heard news of my other friend, the younger one, dying in the hospital. And I wrote a song about him during as well. But it was real rough. I went home and cried both days. I cried about the first friend especially, but man, he was so young. He was 15, and it's a lot. And I sound like I'm trauma dumping. It's not meant necessarily to be that. I've gone through like grief, like I guess is it grief therapy or grief counseling, I guess is the word I'm looking for. I went through that. And yeah, it was a lot, but I made it through. I'm still here. And then a couple months later, it was in, I think, June, one of my dogs ended up, I think, having a massive heart attack and dying. And that just kind of piled on. And sent me right back into it. And it sucked, but you just had to keep moving on, you know? So I did. And this is going to sound probably really negative, considering the first half of this story is quite literally about death and me being in grief for a long time. These are more just gripes that I'm currently having that I can't change and no one around me can change. And it's not even necessarily a bad thing. I just wish they weren't changing, if that makes sense. So in the interim between, well, no, I guess it technically happened before. My mother met my current stepdad. Still feels weird to say that considering the wedding was a week ago, basically. Met my current stepdad, and it was this year that he'd ended up proposing. And then, of course, I don't really care. He's a nice guy. He's given us so much. My brother, my mom, myself, so much. Like, I made the entertainment center kind of as a thanks, but it was like the full thing. Like, he has a GameCube. He has like N64, SNES, NES. He got a Switch too. Like, he's a gamer, and like he loves all the retro stuff and Nintendo stuff. We have an original Genesis. Like, he just loves all that stuff, and I built the entertainment center to hold it all. So that can at least show you at least part of that relationship between us. It's not a bad one by any means. these are specifically gripes that I'm having with the scenarios that caused all of these. So after the proposal, nothing really super eventful happened aside from the fact that I was graduating. And of course, as I think I've made clear in a couple of my videos, I am super introverted, so it was not exactly comfortable. They were going to throw a super big graduation party, and it was nice to see a lot of the people I haven't seen in a very long time, and a lot of people that I probably won't be able to see for a very long time. And even my dad came, which is pretty cool. But it was before I'd graduated, a few days. I'm gonna try not to cry. But the older friend who had died has an older brother and a younger sister, and an older sister technically too, but I don't know her very well, whatever. But the older brother had married a daughter of a neighbor, one that I did actually know pretty well. They were our across the street neighbor from my grandparents' house, so I knew them from a very long time ago. And the Thursday before my graduation, which was on a Saturday, so a couple days before, I believe she had her baby. And we were at our senior breakfast, is what we call it, where a lot of the teachers show up and all of the seniors show up. We were at a church, and she told us about that. And our class is small. We only had like 12 of us. And all throughout, there's only been a couple of us who have stuck to my school. And all of us knew my friend very, very well. And most of them had played football with him and all of the amazing stuff. But she said that day that, like, we were uncles. And the fact that all of it was crashing in around me, that chapter of my life was basically over. There was maybe a few pages left. Again, there's only 2 days. But the fact that she had said that brought all of the feelings back. And it was just a lot, you know? That, again, was 2 days before my graduation. 2 days before I closed that chapter of my life, and one of the last things from it was me getting told that, like, you are still part of our family. You are still part of him, part of us. And it was just a lot, you know? I think I hear a train coming, so I'm gonna put these in. Yep, knew it. But yeah, it was a big part of everything. I do my best, but what can you do when you live right next to a railroad track? Salute. This is just water, so my voice doesn't die, but yeah. I'm gonna get to the gripes, don't worry. In case you were wondering, I don't edit these videos. They're supposed to be very raw, very real. So sometimes you're just gonna have to deal with trains. I record at 9, 10, 11 at night, so I don't get as many, but it still happens time to time. And so you're aware, I'm guessing that you probably already know, this isn't like some internet ARG. I'm not an actor here. This is really who I want to be, like, remembered, you know? This is me cataloging my memories. So that once this chapter is over, I can move on and still remember things without having to keep them in my head to myself, you know? It's easy to be transparent when you're not looking at anybody. Train's almost passed. Maybe. Maybe not. This is a long one. It had 4 in the center, so it's probably a couple miles long. I have no idea how long trains actually get. Somebody with a train tism can tell me in the comments if they really want to, but you guys are probably all skipping this part. This is really annoying. I'll tell a quick story. The other day, we had a train stop on the tracks right outside our house, and it was there for like a half an hour, just sitting. Not a clue why. Stars are out tonight. It's kind of cool. Come on already. There we go. Alright, now that I kind of got through all of my tragedy, time to just get to the gripes. I'm not saying I'm not super lucky to be in the place I am right now, but goodness, what I wouldn't give to just have a normal summer. Or I guess have had a normal summer. It's July, it's half over already. So, soon as school gets out, I gotta write a whole bunch of thank you notes. That's a little gripe. Of course I do. I got a whole bunch of really amazing gifts, and I thanked all of them. all like 300 or 400 that I had to write, it felt like. I have no idea how many I actually wrote, but it felt like 400. It was so many. And I hope I don't have to do that a whole lot anymore. But the first actual gripe was our freaking AC unit started going out. And it went out like that once it started going. It was maybe 2 days. It was a little hotter than usual. And then it went completely gone. We had to stay in a house for like a week, maybe a week and a half in like 90-degree Fahrenheit weather. Oh boy, it was not fun. That means it's 80 inside the house, which I get, that's like what a lot of British people have anyway. But when you go in from 100 degrees to 80 degrees versus 100 degrees to like 70 or 65 degrees, it's a pretty big difference. But that's just a low-level gripe. What actually comes in is when we started replacing it, the whole moving thing, because of course my stepdad had proposed to my mom, we had ended up like, oh hey, so we're gonna have like a move. It's gonna be like maybe next year after. No, so our AC goes out, and by the way, our grandparents are moving into our old house. So what ends up happening is once the AC goes out is like, oh, well, we got to replace it. But because we're sending you to college, we can't really afford to replace the AC too. So what they ended up doing is our grandparents bought the AC for their new house. And because my mom said that, oh, hey, we're eventually going to be moving out, would you guys buy the AC? My grandmother thought she meant, oh, we're moving out right now, and here you go, here's your new house, because she's been complaining so much about the central air, like not having central air in her house, which I get, but we still have ACs. It's not like it's hot in that house. And she complains about it being hot, and she has them on like 75 degrees. She has her AC units meant to cool the whole house, set to 75 degrees. So it doesn't cool the house any. And then when we turn it down to cool off the house like it's supposed to be, she puts a blanket on and says, turn it up, it's too cold. It makes me so angry. I mean, heck, I've often gone to their house so I can have it colder because our central air hadn't always worked the best. But that's just another gripe. So we end up moving, and then we end up out here by our place of work. So we end up going, and my mom's been pushing a job on me, and like she knew, like she and I both know that like this is my last summer with you guys. Like I want to spend it at home with you. So we end up moving out here and says, hey, you should get a job. 7 days a week. It said, it didn't say that in the ad. It said, hey, we need some people to come work from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. for the summer. Didn't say the days you need to work. It just said, hey, 10 to 3, come here. I never signed a contract. I got there and like said, oh, okay, 10 to 3. Oh, well, today we need extra help, so 10 to 4. Oh, well, okay. Then tomorrow I want you here by 9. Tomorrow I want you here by 8. Tomorrow I want you here by 6. And yeah, sure, we live right near here, but like that's not what I signed up for. And again, I never signed a contract, but like it's so dumb. And then like our freaking boss, I think, is being investigated for something now. I was there for 3 weeks, and then I quit because I couldn't deal with any of his nonsense. So he's probably going to jail for something, or he's getting sued. I don't remember, one or the other. So yeah, we're doing that. So I was there for 3 weeks. Got paid $200 maybe. So screw that guy. Screw that job. And I'm a night person, hence why I'm recording at 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night. But freaking, he advertised 10 to 3 and then said, okay, yeah, we're going to have you here from 6 till 3. And that really ticked me off. So there's that gripe. I don't have a room out here because, of course, I'm going out to college. My brother also doesn't have a room here, so I've been sleeping on a couch. So during the entire time I was working, I was staying up late, waking up early, going to work. Oh, I didn't mention, he sent us home half the time. When we got there, when he asked us to be there, then he sent us home. And that really, really grinds my gears. So, yeah, that's why I quit. And I still only got paid like $200, so not a fan. That business is closed now, if you couldn't guess. He did not run it well. What else do we have? We have, again, the fact that I don't have room here. So during that time, I've been sleeping on a couch or in a chair and waking up after only like 4 hours of sleep to go to work and then get told to come back home. But I can't go back to sleep because we need us back there in a couple hours. So that made me angry. Oh, and it was 7 days a week. I need you to be here at 7 o'clock. And then you need to be here until 3. And then he sent us home half the time. Yeah. While I was sleeping on a couch. So that made me angry. But that was more like I didn't get enough sleep angry. Especially considering I'm living with 2 younger kids who aren't night owls like I am. So that woke me up even more often. But I think that's enough. You get it. I didn't like that job, and I still don't want to go back to a job like that, but I probably will have to during college just to kind of have enough spending money to keep going by, you know. But it's all right. Other things, there was another gripe. We're not even in the same town anymore. We're out in the middle of nowhere now. Like, I'm used to being a small town in the middle of nowhere. Like, not even small town, like actual village status. And we are not even that anymore. We exist in the middle of nowhere. And I'm not a fan, but I'm going to college, so why does it matter anymore, you know? And it's not like we moved 150 miles. It's like a 40-minute drive. It's fine. What else? There's something else. Oh, the kids. I don't like annoying sounds. I know this whole thing, it's because I fidget with my hands. It bothers me too, but because I fidget with my hands, I do this a lot. The click doesn't bother me, but if I open those all the way, usually they'll like beep. So that causes a lot of annoying. They do that. So I don't like annoying sounds. And every second of the day, they're little kids, and it's 2026 now as I'm recording this. So I'll let you guess. Yeah, they're iPad kids. So they have them on full blast all the time. And I get, like, hey, like, you need to allow them some freedom of stuff, but, like, can at least, like, give them headphones, like, be respectful of others, you know? Like, I have to protect my ears from everything, and I don't like having these in all day, but, like, I have them in all day just because, like, I need my quiet time, and because I don't have a room anymore, like, so I've been sleeping in a guest house, and the other day I didn't get to bed until, like, 5 in the morning, and then they come in barging, like, they come literally barging in, like, sure, it was my own fault that I didn't lock the door, but, like, they could have gotten in the other one. They come barging in and wake me up after, like, an hour of sleep, so that drove me nuts. But they're just kids. They don't know any better, even though I did. But I was also raised by my grandparents, and they had enough of that. I hope I don't sound drunk or something. I'm not. This straight up just is water. Again, I know I'm just throwing stuff at you, and you guys probably aren't even watching anymore past that train, but if you are, hats off to you, I guess. Kudos. Now, I feel like I had one more gripe. I don't know. But the point is, all of this has happened in the span of 3 weeks. 4 weeks, whatever. Because technically, like, the AC went out before we decided to move out here, and then when we moved out here, that's when we started our job. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much all of my gripes. At least I can rant about them now. So I no longer have any privacy. My summer, basically non-existent, considering I had to get a 7-day-a-week job from 7 in the morning to 3 p.m. Moving houses, 2 houses at once, then moving off to college, and loud noises that I don't like constantly. Is that it? I think that's it. Alright, well, if for whatever reason you stuck around this long, good for you. I don't know why you would. This isn't exactly entertaining. This is for my own well-being. But I guess until next time, I'm Ranger Not Available, but you can call me Aiden. And I'll see you all in the next one. Peace and love, and goodbye.